Life is full of glorious opportunities, but you have to fight and earn it. We know this famous phrase called as do or die. And I will explain this concept to you with an interesting story from Mahabharata. This is the story of Vidula and her speech to her son, which most of you wouldn't be heard. After 13 years of exile, Pandavas sent a priest to Hastinapur to ask for their land. And Duryodhana sent him back claiming that they have completed basis lunar calendar and they have to do it again basis solar calendar, which is another 12 years. Then Krishna went to Indraprastha to talk to Dhritarashtra and his son and make them understand that they should give Indraprastha to Pandavas because it was agreed like that. And Duryodhana said, absolutely no, we are not going to give it. Then Krishna said, for the sake of peace, at least give them 5 villages so that they can live with dignity. And even for that, Duryodhana said, no. Then Krishna again asked him, can you give 5 houses at least in one village? Duryodhana said, no. And then Krishna announced the war. And after that, Krishna went to meet Kunti and explained her about what happened with Duryodhana. Krishna asked this important question to Kunti, whether she has got any advice to her children. And Kunti said, tell my sons the story of Vidula. And this is the story which I want to tell today to you to make you understand this concept called as do or die. Vidula's son Sanjaya was young and very inexperienced. When his father died, he became king of this kingdom called as Sovira. The king of Sindhu, which was just the neighboring country, felt that this was the right moment to attack Sovira because the king, which is Sanjaya, was very young. So he came with his entire army to fight against Sovira kingdom. And Sanjaya, the young king, when he saw this and when he heard this story that a big army is coming and marching towards his capital, got really terrified. So Sanjaya's mother asked him to lead the army and fight the battle. At the end of the day, he was shaken by the fierce attack. He was wounded and Sanjaya rode back to the fort. When his mother saw that wounded son is returning to the fort, Vidula ordered the guards to close the gate of the fort. Standing on the fort, Vidula told her son that he should be fearless if he wants to be a winner. She reminded him that a warrior should be like an angry elephant. And she told him to go back to the battlefield and said that you have just 2 choices. The first choice is defeat the army and return home as a victor, or go on fighting till you fall dead. Sanjaya went back to the battlefield and defeated the king of Sindhu, and the story ends there. The same story was being narrated by India's philosopher and a poet called as Aurobindo Ghosh in 1905 when Britishers did a partition of India and Bengal. At that time, the country rose in protest, and this story of Vidula's speech to her son was being made as a poem by him as the mother to her son. The message which I want to communicate to you through this a simple story of Vidula and her speech to her son is that it is better to have a short but glorious life with your head held high than a long life of mediocrity and shame. We should apply this to our lives as well, because life gives us many opportunities and many struggles, and we can't run away from the battlefield. We also have 2 choices: fight hard and win the battle, or fight hard and die in the battle as a warrior.